Well, studio, we appreciate you joining us today. It's our pleasure to welcome now Stephen McCraney, Executive Director of the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency. Stephen, Mac, always good to see you, sir. Thanks for coming in today.
Hey, great to be here.
So, give us an update on what's going on with respect to some portions of the state of Mississippi, specifically Walthall County, which was recently ravaged by severe storms that went through the area.
Absolutely.
It appears that we're still waiting for some federal disaster relief funding. Is that right?
That's correct. We ended up having about 20 counties in that actual disaster that came through the state, March 14 and 15. And you're right. The lower part, Walthall, Jefferson Davis, those just really were traumatic tornadoes. And at one time, you almost had two that were one was in front, one was behind, and they were pushing each other, almost like a NASCAR race. And they just kept cycling through and went all the way to Covington County, where we had another death there. Stopped at each and every one of those sites, and it is just very, very, very traumatic. 233 destroyed homes. That's a significant amount.
In over what area?
And that is 20 counties. That's Walthall, Jefferson Davis, Covington. You get up into even up in North Mississippi. So we almost had the track of the Easter tornado in South Mississippi, and then we had the track of the Rolling Fork Emory tornadoes. At the same time in the state. So we were split. I mean, Task Force 1 had to stay in North Mississippi, search and rescue. 2 had to stay in place because they were trying to go either north or south. And then 3 had to stay down south because we had a lot of activity during that 48-hour period. So we got out. We did all the damage assessments. I can't say enough to the local emergency managers. I had Adams County would jump over, Covington would jump over and help somebody else, just getting those initial numbers down. And in our new program that we've got, Crisis Track allows the public to take a photo. And so they were able to kind of give us the track so you weren't riding every county road, but we could get those initial numbers out there and done. So 233 destroyed, 208 major. Those are the ones that are really, really hit hard. And then you've got minor and affected. So it's we got our declaration up there probably about 2 to almost 3 weeks faster than we've ever done. Okay. And that's because of the teamwork with the local emergency managers jumping in to get those initial assessments done. Then MEMA has to come in and we validate it. Then we call FEMA, and in 24 hours they're on the ground with us, and then they're doing the final joint PDA look. So we were able to do that, get with the utility companies. Plus, we're looking at roads, bridges, culverts, schools, parks, everything else. There's about little over $18.2 million worth of damage during that storm. So it's it's one that just kept creeping up and up and up. And then, of course, our electrical co-ops figure into that as well, which will figure into this next storm that's coming. So we have jockeyed from number 12 all the way up to number 4 now in that hierarchy of storms that were submitted. April 1, we got ours in. So we are number 4 in the pipeline to be evaluated at all levels. FEMA Region 4 supported us greatly. Y'all got some decent numbers here, good numbers. You never want to have those numbers, but we were able to get all the damages that we could, and so we're waiting on to hear about that declaration.
Okay, so is there a way to streamline that process? Have you guys and your counterparts in the other states, do you talk to the feds, the FEMA about that, just improving that?
We have, and you're going to have to go back and, of course, you have to change the language within the Stafford Act. That is what actually drives and says, here's what you have to do when you have damage. Here's what all the gates that you've got to meet. We've got to get almost to $5.7 million before I can even ask for a public assistance grant. Okay. So there are gates that you have to meet, and that goes off of our population. And then each county has to meet that gate as well. So I'm jockeying 83 with the Band of Choctaw Indians and getting those numbers up. But we got them up relatively quickly. And the pipeline's moving. We started at 12. We're jockeyed up to I'm the number 4 horse now. Okay. So and it's solid across the board. Our numbers and the damages that we took during those storms we're not on the borderline. In my mind, as long as I've been at MEMA, this one looks very solid to me.
Okay.
Now, in the meantime, we still have work to do. We still have survivors. We still have folks that lost a home. So we ran. The locals did. We helped them when we could, but safe rooms or places to stay in those shelters for a while, and now they're staying with family members and other folks, and we're still on call. If there's an unmet need for anyone in South Mississippi, call that local emergency manager first. We've got Southern Baptist disaster response team. They're doing cutting work. They're cleaning yards, this, that, and the other. You've got the American Red Cross that are putting people up in hotels, intermediate time, Salvation Army, you name it. There's a even our Business Emergency Operations Center, where corporations have donated money into. To be able to take care of these folks before we can get a federal declaration, which will it won't never make you 100% whole, but we're taking care of them until we can get that pipeline open for them.
So you talked about something maybe we don't consider is destruction to transportation infrastructure.
Absolutely.
So is your agency, Mac, are you coordinating with the Highway Patrol, county law enforcement, municipal law enforcement, et cetera, to just handle that as well?
Absolutely. MDOT, Brad over there, when I call, there's all these desks in the State Emergency Operations Center, 16 emergency support functions. MDOT, you've got the Highway Patrol, you've got representation almost every archives in history. They had to do the Indian mounds for me one time. So everyone has a slice of what a statewide response would be. And I'm like the conductor of the orchestra. We coordinate the needs coming up from the counties. We do training exercises. We do instruction to get everybody on the same sheet of music. And I can't thank the Highway Patrol, Department of Wildlife. I've sent them out to do presence patrols to help those communities so no one can ravage their home while they are at a shelter or at another place, to give them some peace of mind. So we plussed up patrols there, and MDOT, the night of the 14th, they were out there cutting roadways, clearing them off, and we count those. Hey, we got one block? No, you don't now anymore. It's cleared.
Okay.
That way we can get emergency services running up and down those roads in case they're needed, search and rescue, et cetera. So
okay.
That's kind of the way we run it at MEMA.
The interoperability with all the digital tools and the technology, it's improved dramatically, is it not?
Absolutely. I was a military National Guard for the state of Mississippi during Katrina, and we drove down to that impacted area into the land of no communication.
Yeah. And
nobody was on the same sheet of music. So what we have is an EOC that every state agency is in, even volunteers are in there, and the Business Emergency Operations Center is in there. So now we're all looking at the same boards. We're looking at the same information. If you have something that impacts a hospital, Department of Health is going to update it, boom, it's going to hit the board and it's going to post. So it's 360-degree situational awareness that we did not have back then. It was and plus with the Miss One radio system, the Wireless Commission has done a superb job. So we just flip to a channel. We know where we are. We post it. Here's the layout for the state. If you're going to be in this area, go to this channel. Talk to anybody there. Everybody's listening. So it's the crosstalk and the speed at which we're able to respond to notify the right agency to do that thing that they do is it's cut that response time.
Well, I'm reminded of the scenes from Katrina, as you talked about. You would see emergency personnel, first responders across all the various organizations and agencies, and on their belt they would have multiple communications devices.
Absolutely. It's
I mean, like weight them down or something.
Yeah. It's you during Katrina you would have a brief out first thing in the morning about 6:30. Okay, then you briefed out at 6:30 p.m. after you went out and did all these things. Well, now as things change during the day, we can redirect
real time,
or I can bring it. So it's just that they were going out and they would come in and they'd have everything they did written on a piece of paper, and wow, now we just update it.
That's awesome.
It's automatic.
If you can hang around, we keep talking.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We've got Stephen McCraney. He is the Executive Director of the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency, also known as MEMA. We're in the Element Wealth Studio coming. We're visiting with Stephen McCraney, the Executive Director of MEMA. So you were just telling me off the air, you're still dealing with really two big areas of the state that were affected. You got the north and northeast, I think, in particular, and then southwest.
Right, and the storms that came through the 14, 15 March and the ones that came through 2 through 6-ish April, they went to the same places. So I've got some more impacted counties and then some less, but it evens up. I've got 20 in each storm that are doing it, and then of course, flooding. It's top of the state right now. It's coming on down. Went to Vicksburg yesterday. Got to talk to John Elfer, the local EM director there, the Corps of Engineers. Good colonel was there, and we've got a plan. And just to tell people, I told them yesterday, one, if you have somebody that moved into that neighborhood and you know it floods, they're new. Let them know. Tell them.
Sure.
And then prepare yourself. What are you going to do when that road's cut off? What's your reunification plan for your family if you just have an elder care situation, someone at home, and that water creeps up a little bit quicker? And so it's a very, very good visit with them yesterday, and to be able to warn the local public there what they're going to see. That water looks slow, but I guarantee you it's about a half a foot higher now today. From where I saw it yesterday, and 465 will close in the morning.
Okay.
That highway running around to Eagle Lake and whatnot, you're not going to be able to take the shortcut from the from the south.
You're monitoring all this very closely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the locals are feeding us information as well. We're looking at the grand scheme of things. We're looking left, right, up. Definitely the amount of water that came, we were already starting to figure it. Worked with the Ross Barnett Reservoir on their gates. How much? Well, I'm going to dump now because then I'm going to hold it. They're not a flood control, but man, they do a fantastic job of actually keeping the Pearl where it doesn't flood down in South Mississippi. The best that they can do, and so we're monitoring everything from Tunica all the way to Natchez. Those emergency managers, sandbags, pumps, you name it, we've distributed out, and we're standing by and ready to assist. We've already identified shelters. Everything else, once a shelter opens, it populates on our website. You know exactly where it is. You know what it'll take, and we're ready. It's not it's a slow flood. Flooding is that slow backwater. It's setting, and then it takes a long time to pull out. So it's we're looking at some places impacted right now in North Mississippi, but it won't get out of and drop below minor flooding in Natchez until about May the 2nd.
To what extent do you coordinate with third-party, not-for-profit organizations such as Red Cross, and there are numerous others as well?
Oh, absolutely. They are a part of the team. And as we've developed our Business Emergency Operations Center, all of our NGOs that come in, Salvation Army, American Red Cross, 7 Days Hope, you name it. I mean, we have folks that are great roof builders, and they'll come in and donate all of their time if we just put supplies on the ground. They'll come in and evaluate it, and they'll tell you what you need for each house, how much drywall, how much this, how much that, and do a drop shipment, and the next group comes through and gets it done. So we're definitely they are the glue that sticks us all together, whether you're a local EM, city, county, state, or fed. We don't do it all. The government does not do it all, but that nonprofit organization that comes in, and the Cajun Navy did a fabulous job in South Mississippi. I watched where they bought a young couple, husband and wife in their 20s. They bought them a house, put it on their property. Their truck was destroyed. They got them a car, and the little couple was just so. We're homeowners now. We're not renting. They bought the land, the house, and a car, so I get them back and forth to work.
Wow.
And that's just that's what giving.
Yeah, and that's what they're known for.
And those groups can move very nimble. The government, we have we got to do this, we got to check blocks along the way. Of course, I kind of like put a strike through all of them at one time, so we can go fast. But they feel the biggest void when we have a natural disaster.
How has working with FEMA changed under the new president, if there's been any noticeable change?
As far as our processes, how we prepare, how we get ready. When I called Region 4 and I said, look, I'm probably going to need a debris, a joint damage assessment team. This was a Friday. I really need to kick it off. I'm getting my last numbers in Saturday, and I really need them here Sunday. They'll travel Sunday. You'll be ready to go Monday. I mean, there's no delay at all. Now, there's the views are being looked at. They're looking at all the programs. They've pulled a few grants back to pause them, to evaluate them, and then they're bringing them back out. And they've not changed much. So it's the support I've gotten out of my region, out of Atlanta, Region 4, I call it the Southeastern Conference of Disasters. It's everybody in the Southeastern Conference almost, except for Texas and Louisiana. So our back and forth, all the things we do, floodplain management, the mitigations offices, the public assistance, the individual assistance, and the response, we've not missed a glitch. I've still got 7 members from FEMA that are within my organization, and they're specialists within those areas, and so they're able to relay information back up sometimes quicker than I do, because I'm focusing on a problem, so I'm not going to tell them what I got. I'm attacking that problem. So right now we haven't had any hiccups or any big changes in the way we do business. Do I think it's going to? I think all federal government's going to change, and I think there's times where MEMA looked inside of itself, and we morphed because you have to. Technology, the way you do business, survivor centric, doing a task, and so we had to get better. We had to get refined, and COVID actually made us super nimble. We really embraced where you are with your computer. In North Mississippi, South Mississippi, you're working. And it's no more day trip, come back, write up your notes. Write your notes up while you're there, get to the next one. We're going to be working on it back at the office because you've already sent it to us. It was done right then. So I think there's a time for a lot of federal agencies to do that.
The state has yet to adopt a budget for fiscal year 26. Is that having any impact on your organization?
Not. I've got money till June the 30th, and I'm probably the only agency, rightfully so, that has a disaster trust fund. I can tap into that with these disasters that we've had. I can augment with Highway Patrol, pay that overtime, put somebody out there that's needed. Department of Health went out and did TDAT shots during the storm areas. So
you got a reserve for that.
So we've got that, and we've averaged that out. It was one of my main goals when I got here is to say, well, how much do you need in that disaster trust? About $8.5 million. That is about a year for me. A normal disaster type year. Okay. And we've had that. I can actually increase it if needed. I have to tell the governor, lieutenant governor, and the legislature anytime I add funds to it, but I have a certain amount that I can. So we're one of the few states that's very flexible in that manner, and I'm very thankful that we have that option, because we're going to keep running. You can't. Survivors are out there. You've got to move. You've got to take care of them the best you can.
Yeah. Your organizational structure and staffing, how are you doing there?
Doing well. I think I've probably got 8 openings, but that's probably the norm. We've got about 180-ish on board right now, with the ability to bring in contractors if I have some heavy lifting to do, because that's like a one-off. You bring in somebody that does like a 2 or 3 week job and then say goodbye. I might not need them for 2 years. So we're very fine-tuned that way, in that we've got the staff with a lot of experience, and we do have turnover because FEMA and others they like my employees, and so they can pay them more. But we've got some great Mississippians here that have been with us since Katrina, They lived through Katrina. I'm thinking of two right now that I met them my first day at work in 2016. I'm like, why are you here? She goes, why are you here? Oh, okay. It's because they lived through it, and it's their calling, and they do it right.
It's the kind of folks you want.
So that is
no
the
doubt.
ones.
Yeah. Mac, appreciate you coming in, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Good interview. Stephen Mac McCraney, Executive Director of the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency, has been our guest on Middays in the Element Well studio. We're coming right back.